Hi everyone. I didn't get to show you this last video because it was still drying, so I just thought I'd show you now. So today I'm going to paint I'm not sure if I'm going to paint the elephant or another animal I had drawn. I drew this rooster and then I drew a squirrel. I haven't painted in a while, so I'm kind of nervous to start on the nicest drawing, which is the elephant. So I might just try, I think I'm gonna try doing a squirrel today. Now I have these new brushes. Let's see if I can put this over here. One of the fibers is, oh, I got it, okay. This brush you're supposed to fill it with water, and then as you press you can release more water when you use it. So I'm gonna try this brush today. Maybe. Yeah, I didn't think about that. So maybe I'll try this brush another time. Maybe I'll just use a regular brush. See what I can find. This one's good. Okay, so I'm gonna use this brush. That's a lot darker than I anticipated. This is the yellow sienna. It looks much lighter on the reference sheet, but that's probably because I used more water. The good thing about watercolors is you can always lighten it up with more water. So that's what I'll try to do. Just do a quick coat of this color, then I'll go back over and shadow it in if needed. the drawing of the squirrel itself was used with watercolor pencils. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to tape down the paper so it wouldn't warp from the water. Uh-oh. See, when you haven't painted in so long, you forget these important steps. I don't like the way that looks. Let's see if I can remove some of that. Okay. I wonder if I can paint that mushroom without going over the white spots. I think for the mushroom I'm gonna use Scarlet Red, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just hope that the paint doesn't bleed into the little white circles. You have to have a really steady hand for this, or a extremely tiny brush. And at the moment I'm not using a small brush, so I need my hand to be steady. It's turning out nicely. As a kid and teenager growing up, I was always really fascinated by these mushrooms. The red ones with the white spots. And I didn't know until recently when I decided to look online that they're one of the most poisonous mushrooms. I guess you could kind of figure that out from its bright colors anyways, but it never really occurred to me. I just loved the vibrancy of the red and white and how it stood out so nicely. Maybe it had something to do with me playing Mario Kart and the little red mushrooms growing up. The 1-ups or whatever they were, power-ups. Okay, so now I'm going to use the yellow-green to paint this little leaf sprout that I drew. Reminds me of when I tried to grow my own garden once. I had a bunch of wildflower seeds. Just had a green pot and I just put them all in there, and over the course of a week I watched them grow bigger and bigger, and it was just really beautiful to observe. I also attempted to grow some squash plants, which didn't, they were growing big and they started blossoming, the flowers started blossoming, and I really thought I was going to get some squash. And then one day I was walking by and I saw this giant creature, insect bug on my squash plant, and although it was beautiful, I think I realized that it was not supposed to be there because I'd never seen one of those before. So I ended up looking online to figure out what kind of moth or bug it was, and it turns out it is called the squash vine borer moth, which I believe it said it lays its does something to the squash plant that prevents it from growing. I don't know exactly what it was, so I had to get rid of that moth, but I didn't kill it. I just took it into a different spot, but I don't know if he came back or something else killed the squash plants, but they just didn't grow after that. And that was my only attempt at a garden. After that, I'm like, it didn't work out. Maybe again, I'll try again one day in the future when I have my own backyard. Because right now I'm in an apartment and I don't have that leisure anymore. Okay. So I will paint the excuse me. I'll paint the acorn next. I'm gonna first put some white on it so it looks a little bit lighter when I go over with the other colors. No. For the top I'm gonna do just the regular, or no, sorry, for the bottom I'm gonna do the regular sienna. Maybe I should wait for it to dry first. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for it to dry, then I'll go over it. Okay, so back to the squirrel. You know what I just realized? I painted my squirrel with the wrong color. I painted him with the yellow ochre instead of the yellow sienna. That's why it was darker than on the color sheet. I have to be careful when doing this, but it's fine. I can make it work. So now I'm gonna do the sienna, and I did check it's the right one this time. I'm just not sure. How it will turn out. I mean, it looks like it's okay. When I go, this is always my problem, I go into shadow and add some darker areas, and then I feel like I just end up outlining it. And I'm not sure how it's actually supposed to look. Like, I guess I need to practice more in regards to shadows. Now, I don't know if squirrels' tails are the same color, or are they darker or lighter? I'm just gonna paint them paint it a little bit darker, or at least add a little bit of color in there so it's not all the same value. And then I will try to use the very tip of this brush to add hair-like strokes. It would probably work better if I had a smaller brush. And I do, I just don't want to go through and find one. I like to challenge myself. Uh-oh. See, that was a little mess up there. I went too hard, too far. I'm trying to keep the tail to be looking a little bit like I want to keep the outline shape. Go back to the acorn now. I'm going to use the Van Dyke Brown, which is third to the last. Hopefully it's not too dark. It probably will be because I haven't added water. Okay, and then the top, I will just make it the yellow sienna. I gotta do something about this little spot on the mushroom. This extra line here. It's supposed to be the underside of the mushroom, but I realized I drew it with the red, so it won't actually look the way I want it to. Maybe if I go over with some white first. Go back over this. Is that called the stalk? The stalk of the mushroom? Yeah, the stalk and the cap. So work on the stalk again. Maybe put a little white in the ears. Painting faces on things is always the hardest part. I'm questioning if I should just draw it on with an ink pen instead. But I don't want it to stand out that much, so I'm going to attempt to do his eye now, but I'm going to, instead of using black, I'm going to use one of the blues, and I think, or maybe even this gray. Yeah, I'm going to use Payne's gray. That is right next to the yellow green. Okay, so just a little bit. Try to keep a little white spot at the top of the eye. Uh-oh. Too much on the other eye. Did I smudge it? Alright. It is what it is. The only thing I'm not certain about is that part of the mushroom. Like, how do I fix that? I guess I could just paint it red and have it blend in with the other part of the mushroom. So I used Scarlet, and that was the 8th color. Wet on wet means bleeding. I should have let it dry first. Let me just dab it with a paper towel, help it dry faster. Okay, it should be okay now. So I'm gonna try and make a little white circle here. The other side looks a little wonky. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm telling myself this so I don't mess it up. It doesn't have to be completely symmetrical. I am a perfectionist at heart, and that's something I'm always trying to fix within myself because I usually just end up causing myself more frustration. I'm always my worst critic, and right now, I think I need to learn to not be so hard on myself. I think it looks okay. I'm gonna pat myself on the back and say good job for once. So that is my squirrel. Hopefully you guys can see that. I will have more painting videos in the future, so if you liked watching, or maybe if you learned something, let me know in the comments. If you have any suggestions, if you want to let me know, that would be great. Please like and subscribe. I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.